It's time to read one of my favorite Reddit threads that I've seen recently. In recent times, I don't know if there's been one as good as this one, bro. This has been an absolute banger. People really need to lay off Faker. It's not okay. Here we go. This was all the way at the top of Reddit. I don't know if it actually hit number 1 on the subreddit, but it was at least number 2. I saw it at number 2. And the title of it was that people really need to lay off Faker. It's not okay. Everyone, let me begin. Everyone is subject to bad performances. Everyone, all caps. Damn. And the majority of you are fortunate enough to not have it be on the world stage. So it must be easy to criticize someone when their mistakes are there for the world to see. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what you guys don't understand. Being a streamer, being in front of the world, it's one of the hardest jobs you can imagine, bro. Like having all your mistakes be public, like you're so fortunate. You're so lucky that you're not making $6 million a year to play a video game. That's what you guys need to understand. Like Faker, not like me, bro. I don't make close to that, but allegedly that's what Faker's contract is. It's like 5 million plus per year. You know what no one else in the history of the game has achieved? Being a 4-time world champion. I like how this is how, and whenever somebody criticizes Faker, this is immediately what people just go to. It's like Faker, you think he's playing bad? Do you know he won 4 worlds? It's like, wait, so what does that mean with like what he like? But right now he's playing bad, but he won 4 worlds. Like, do you not remember that he won 4 worlds? 11-1, do you remember? Like, why do people just have this obsession with just telling you that Faker has won 4 world championships whenever there's like any criticism against him? It's like, hey, like Faker said one of his favorite people to eat food with would be the Prince of Saudi Arabia. Out of all the people in the world, one of the people that you assume respects the most or wants to be the most connected to is the Prince of Saudi Arabia. And it's like, bro, like, so what, bro? Maybe Faker has similar ideals or some shit to that guy. Maybe that's somebody who he respects. Maybe that's somebody who he looks up to, whatever. But he won 4 worlds. So like, who are you to fucking criticize him, pussy? Like, what's wrong with you? It's your problem. Okay, let's keep on going. I've never seen someone be so above and beyond the competition in terms of achievement and still be so widely ridiculed for it. Okay, like, where do you live, bro? Do you not see everyone saying like Pinaldo, Pessi? Do you not see people call LeBron a fucking bum? Do you not see people just like shit on fucking Steph Curry? Like, do you not see every athlete that is like the best in their sports get massively criticized all the time? Like, where the fuck do you live, bro? Like, leave your house. Like Tom Brady, the best quarterback in the history of football, same thing, 7 championships. Like, hey, bro, like who cares if he left his wife for football? He's got 7 championships. You would get laughed out of other fucking subreddits if you had this anywhere else. And this is why I feel so fucking disconnected from this community, is stuff like this gets like upvoted. The thing I respect, at least, as I like brushed over the comments, the thing I respect is that at least the comments kind of put this guy in his place, because there is some like K-pop mental illness that goes on with T1, and pretty much only T1. Like, for some reason, if Chovy has a bad game, oh, fucking Choky, oh, Chovy's so fucking bad, this is why he's never won a world championship, he's shit. Like, Knight plays bad, oh my god, fucking Knight is such a fraud, bro. Like, anyone, bro, plays poorly, and they instantly get shit on by everyone. But if Faker plays poorly, you're just not allowed to even like point out that he plays poorly. It's such a weird idol culture that people have with Faker. This dude is like almost 30. He plays video games. Like, why is he just immune to criticism because he's the GOAT? I don't understand. I don't understand why he should just like not be criticized because he's the GOAT. There was a thread I remember reading somewhat recently. Where someone asked if Faker didn't play League, who would be considered the best of all time in his place. And everyone was adamant that it was impossible to say because no one has even come close to him. I don't think there's anyone close to him in the GOAT conversation, but I think that like you'd probably just put like Rookie there, like second best all time. If you want to go with like the peak and everything, and this guy played for this long and he hit the worlds and he was like the best in LCK at point, then the best in LPL, like Rookie would be like a name that would be in there. Like it would be something that you could have a discussion on. I don't think that it's impossible to say who's second best. Like, have a discussion. Like Rookie would be a name in there. People would probably put names like Canyon in there. Like there would be a discussion to be had. Like, I guess Scout would end up there. Like you'd have like Xiaohu, like these types of players. If T1 wasn't winning, it's like you'd have whoever else was there. You would be able to have a conversation on who was the second best of all time. Like, you could make a top 10 players of all time list and have a second best and be like, oh, that guy would be the GOAT. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, it's it's very weird to me to say that, like, because Faker is the best of all time by far, there's no second best of all time. Like, it is what it is. Anyways, and the guy is clearly going through mental struggles. The stoic, unkillable Demon King, for the first time in his decade-long reign, is showing vulnerabilities. And how do we as a community respond? What do you mean? Like, what is this? Like, somehow, okay, this is what I don't understand with the situation. Somehow, for a player like Faker, the whole narrative of him winning Worlds last year is that, like, after a tough time where he was no longer the best in the world, after a time where he had multiple years where he didn't make Worlds, where he was one of the main problems in that 2022 finals versus DRX, after all these struggles, he was able to win. And the whole narrative is like, wow, that's amazing. And somehow he gets the credit for that. But then now we just say he has a decade-long reign. Like, he was just the best the whole time. Like, no one was even close to him. Like, it's so delusional. I don't understand why he gets the fruits of, like, of being considered the best of all time, while also getting the fruits of, like, being the comeback king and having, like, the toughness and all this type of stuff. Like, I just don't get it. Like, it has to be one or the other. It can't be both, right? Anyways, it's not the first time he showed vulnerabilities. Like, he showed vulnerabilities over the years for sure, right? Like, he obviously had, like, season 8 where he stopped playing as well. Chovy's been the best mid laner in LCK for, like, years now. There was DRX series where he played bad. I mean, MSI he played bad. Like, what does this mean? This is the first time that he's shown vulnerabilities. Like, he's a human being. He hasn't had this, like, perfect career where he's just been the best for 10 years straight. Like, why do we need to do this in order to say he's the GOAT? I think he's the GOAT. I think he is the best player of all time in League of Legends. I just don't know why I'm a hater if I'm not just delusional and just saying, like, what his career actually is. If I'm like, hey, he's, like, the best of all time, but he, like, wasn't great here, and, like, there was also not the best. Like, if you say that, somehow you're the one who's just some, like, massive hater, and you're the one who's mentally ill, and you just, like, can't accept his greatness for some reason. Anyways, Shaker, LOL, he's washed. That's what people say. That's how the community responds. They say, Shaker, LOL, he's washed. So what, bro? So fucking what? So people say Shaker, LOL, he's washed. People say Shoemaker for Showmaker. People say Chokey for Chovy. People say Knight's a fraud. Like, people call Zeus a rat when he runs it down. Like, I don't understand. Yes, people will say that a player is playing bad and they'll over exaggerate it when they are playing bad. Like, it's annoying, but it's not something that deserves this Reddit thread. Honestly, I don't think I've ever been more embarrassed to be a part of a community. We need to do better. I'm not sure what it is that makes League players pride themselves on being edgy shitlords, but this ain't it. Do better, be better. Oh my god, bro. It's just such an eye roller, no? Do better, be better. Thank you, bro. This guy got off his pedestal. He's like, thank you. Let me tell you about what greatness is. And to me, it's like, who are you, bro? Like, why are you just the authority on how everyone should act in sports? All of a sudden, like, this guy is just, like, telling everyone, like, I need you guys to just act better. It just makes no sense. The other thing that I really hate about this is I don't understand why we don't treat Faker as a human being. I don't understand why Faker is not a human being to us. Like, yes, he is a god of League of Legends, but people treat him as an actual god outside of the game. People think that he is just above what a human being is. Like, criticism against Faker is off limits. You know, any type of, like, talking about his career analytically. If you don't just, like, get on your knees and slurp him off and just say, hey, he's the GOAT every single time. If you're not riding that meat, you are a piece of shit and you're just doing bad. And there's something wrong with you if you are treating him like a human being. If Faker does something up and you're like, yo, that was up, you just get insane amounts of hate. I've literally proved this with the situation where, like, in Hanwha Life, where he said, like, the Hanwha Life series, like, the situation wasn't fair. And I was like, I didn't even criticize him. I didn't even go in. I was just like, he shouldn't have said that. And then everyone just attacked me. And then when, like, Faker was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that. Like, when he came out later, he's like, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. That wasn't a good thing to say. And I was like, yo, nice, Faker. Everyone was like, damn, bro, Dom made Faker apologize. Like, what the how is this still a thing, bro? Like, I don't know what's going on in this community. It feels so, like, eerie. It's so off. Something is so off. Anyways, let's read some of the comments because I feel like comments actually make sense here. The better you perform in your past, the worse your plays will look when you play worse as you have all the eyes on you. It's simply that everyone knows him to be the best ever, so he has to be that, or he lets himself down and expectations are not met. Everyone understands he's burnt out. I mean, he might also just, like, not be burnt out. Like, maybe he's just playing bad right now. I really hate the psychoanalysis of Faker all the time. No one says that about other athletes, by the way. Or, like, that's not a prevailing sentiment in other sports. Like, no one is talking about, like, yeah, I mean, I think LeBron is going to be burnt out. I mean, he played a full season And then he played the Olympics. Like, I think he's burnt out, bro. Like, if he plays bad next year, yeah, I mean, we give him the pass because he's burnt out. I don't know. Like, it's maybe he's burnt out. Maybe he's just built like that. Like, maybe Faker is just somebody who can just grind and come back and grind again, and he just doesn't feel the burn. Like, not everyone gets burnt out at the same rate or feels that. Like, for me personally, I could take like a week, 2 weeks off, and then I'm like good to go. You know, like I will just take a couple weeks off at some point, and then I'm good to go. Like, generally, most pro players are like that, to be honest. Most pro players actually enjoy playing the game and they like the grind of it. So like they'll take some time to like disconnect, and then they kind of just want to get back into the grind. They want to play League in their spare time. They want to just be somebody who's involved with the game because this is something that they started as a hobby that they actually enjoy. And yes, like burnout can happen, but like and he could be burnt out. But I just hate the idea that he has to be burnt out when he hasn't said he's burnt out, when like he's just playing bad right now, and we have to be like, oh, well, he's playing bad. It couldn't possibly be that the meta doesn't suit him, or that he's, you know, just not playing well individually, or, you know, he's struggling in solo queue for some reason. It's not clicking. He's not good with the items. Like, there's some aspects of his game that aren't matching up with what, you know, the best champions in the world do. So, for example, right now it's about mid laning. It's about playing these aggressive like AD mid laners. It's about getting to your certain items, not making mistakes in fights. And Faker at this point, he's kind of a playmaker. Like, that's how I view Faker. He's the guy who's going to make the really good Azir play in a game. Like, he's going to make clutch plays here and there. He's going to find angles in fights and like pull the trigger and understand how to leverage his strength to like win a team fight in terms of like making one big move. I don't see him as like the guy who's just going to sit back and do insane amounts of damage. And that's kind of what the meta has been. So is that not a reasonable explanation for why he's playing bad? Why does it have to be something like mental, or like it has to be that, well, he's obviously the best, but if he's not the best, then something else must be going on. Yeah, it's the same for Ronaldo. People saying Ronaldo was washed, is not good anymore, was still doing 30 goals per season, which is still better than most strikers, but compared to 50, 30 looks bad. Yes, people are just spoiled by brilliance. Okay, keep on going. Star athletes everywhere are heavily criticized and memed on when they don't perform well. This isn't a Faker or LOL thing. This is a sports thing. Yep, and it's completely okay, right? That's the other part, is that it's actually okay to type Faker washed or whatever in a Twitch chat if he's playing bad. Like, that is not something where it's like, oh my god, the community is disgusting me. What are people gonna think if they see this? Like, everyone says that about every player. Like, sure, it's not nice, it's not good, but who else gets this type of treatment? And why does Faker get such special treatment? Because he's very good at League of Legends. Like, I mean, everyone's a human being here, bro. It is what it is. OP read Twitch chat and took it seriously. OP read chat and decided to stroke his ego by creating a Reddit post announcing that the amount of moral superiority he has on this community is physically hurting him. The do better, be better is ending is so obnoxiously pretentious. You know, OP jacked off to that mic drop ending. Yeah, no, 100%. God, I can't imagine like saying like do better to like, oh god, do better. Oh man. And it's like, okay, like, the people that say this are just random people. Like, you see this on Twitter all the time. The do betters, and it's like, dude, like, what do you like? Who are you, bro? Like, show me how good you are, and then maybe I'll like do better to match you. The man dropped the Sam Wilson speech on us like Faker has ever given a single shit what anyone in Twitch chat or Reddit says. Yep. Yeah, I mean, he's like a 30-year-old man, and the thing about Faker is, you think that this is actually what's hurting him? You think that this is actually like the main problem for him? This guy has like had to deal with the pressure of being the GOAT for like 10 years. And then if somebody says Shaker, that's going to be too much. That's going to be the point where people are like he's like, no, bro, cross the line. Now I'm being mentally affected. Like, this guy is just, he's on to bigger things than these fucking Reddit comments, bro. Most sane T1 fan. No, but really, what is it about T1 fans? Why are so many of them so weird? We've had obnoxious fan bases in the scene before, Fnatic, TSM, G2, even KC, but none of them were this fucking weird. Also, notice how Reckless has been on 4 to 5 of the same teams I just mentioned. I wonder how he fits into this. The main thing is that they made it a K-pop group. They K-popified T1. They brought idol culture into it, where they market them as this larger-than-life like phenomenon, as opposed to esports players. And with that, you get a bunch of parasocial weirdos. You get like the most pathetic people that you'll ever find, who are like, they would like give their life so that Faker doesn't feel like 1 second of sadness. It's like, dude, like, you don't know this person. People act so weird about somebody that they don't know. It's like they don't know that they don't know the person. When Faker hit his head on the wall, right? There was a bunch of comments that were like, I've never seen him before like this. It's like, yeah, because he's never, like, you've never seen, because he's never done that in public before. How do you know what he's like off camera, bro? How do you know if this is something that he's done before? Like, how do you know anything about how this guy lives his life or how he acts when a camera's not put? People know that a camera is on them when a camera is on them most times. That was a rare moment where he didn't realize that the camera, like, he thought maybe there was a chance that somebody saw it, but he didn't think it would be a big deal. You know, he's like, oh, like, probably no one's gonna like clip this or anything. Like, they're probably not looking at me right now. And then he decided to like do that. You don't know Faker, so stop talking about Faker like you know him. Kind of cringe to white knight this hard for one of the most celebrated esports pros in history. Faker's a veteran professional. He can handle some heat. Dozens of pros across all regions get relentlessly clowned on constantly, but OP's out here defending the undisputed GOAT for a few weeks of bad play. Okay, bro. I better see a thread tomorrow for Noah if we actually give a shit about bullying. Yeah, I mean, no one cares about bullying. And I don't know why there's like a correlation with like how great you are is how good of a person you are in these people's eyes. And it's like, oh, well, if somebody is a worse player than Faker and they get bullied more than Faker, it doesn't matter because Faker is like the GOAT. So like the other person shouldn't feel as bad because, you know, his career hasn't been what Faker's career is. Like, I don't know. If anything, it's kind of like the other way around. It's like when you have so much success, it like hardens your ability to like it hardens you as a person. It allows you to take more heat because you do think of yourself as good. Your self-esteem improves, obviously. Like if you are somebody who's experienced greatness, you're probably less likely to be affected by from massive amounts of bullying compared to somebody who's actually just never done it and they feel like they're actually bad. Anyways. But he has never watched a minute of regular pro sports. Only in esports do I see people clutch their pearls at pros being made fun of. Messi, Ronaldo, LeBron, etc. First time? Yeah, no, it's crazy. Last comment. Why is Faker treated like a literal child despite being nearly 30? I have no idea. I actually have no idea. Bro, if Faker had to deal with what Britney Spears actually had to deal with, I'm pretty sure T1 fans would actually become a violent mob. True. Nobody's denying he's the GOAT, and it's normal to discuss the GOAT having the worst season of his career. 100%. Based. Any sports community in general would be the same or worse than you described in this scenario. It's like saying people really need to lay off CR7 after 24 euros. Ridiculous. And regarding CR7, if CR7 for whatever reason doesn't want to be ridiculed or criticized, maybe he should just stop playing at that age when he knows he just isn't that good anymore. You chase glory and you will get praised for it, but you cannot ask to be immune for criticism if you fail. So based. Holy I'm actually agreeing with Reddit for once. We are agreeing with Reddit against mentally ill T1 fans. But he has never watched a minute of regular sports. Okay, we read this. T1 fans wouldn't last a day as Westbrook fans. Fucking Westbrook. Damn. He really needs you to defend him. Keep up the good work. This is true. Why is Faker treated like a literal child despite being nearly 30? This all happened after SKT became T1 and they started branding Faker like he's a member of a K-pop group. The shit that guys like Ronaldinho, Bill Russell, or Mario Balotelli. I don't know who Mario Balotelli is. Who is that? Is that a football player? Mario Balotelli. Yeah, it's a Italian soccer player. Okay, yeah. No, because the thing is, like, yeah, Bill Russell. People are just straight up racist to Bill Russell, bro. This guy played basketball in the '60s. He played basketball before black people even had civil rights in the United States. Am I saying the latter is okay? Absolutely not. Of course not. Welcome to sports. Stop treating a 28-year-old man like he's a god. He's a dude who is good at a video game. Yes. This is... Oh my god, we're getting there. We're finally getting there. We're actually getting to the point. Calm down, man. No one should go to a player's DMs and give them hate or personal insults, but calling him Shaker and saying he's washed is harmless. It's also so fucking patronizing to diagnose him some mental health struggle because of one 10-second clip. He's clearly a very competitive person, and sometimes he's going to vent some frustrations. It doesn't have to mean anything. None of you have ever talked to the guy, and you go in here and pretend like he's ready to be institutionalized. True. T1 fans, don't be parasocial challenge. Dude, one thing that I hate in the community is when content creators start getting like hated, and then they drop the like, I was getting death threats, and then people are like, death threats? Well, then no one can criticize you anymore. You said the word, the magic word, bro. You say death threats in the community, it's over, bro. Nothing can be said about you anymore for the rest of your life. That shit is like, it's so annoying to me. It's like when like the Yankos drama happened recently and like people like sent me shit, obviously. Why the fuck would I bring that up? Like, yes, there's going to be some weirdos giving you fucking death threats. That doesn't like invalidate criticism. It's just such like a bullshit shield that people use to stave things off, or it's like, oh, well, you know, if you criticize a player and then someone crazy just sends them a death threat, you're somehow responsible as like a content creator if you criticize them in like a normal way. Like I am very tame with how I criticize Faker. If I ever criticize Faker, you even see me criticize Faker, I'll like mention, I slip in that he's the GOAT just so people like know that I'm on the same page, because people will always try to do this thing where they're like, yeah, Dom just like hates Faker, doesn't think he's the GOAT. Like, how delusional is he? I always slip in like, Faker is the GOAT, but he played bad here. And like people will just try to be like, oh, well, now the player is getting death threats because of you. Like, okay, man, my bad. I just will say everyone is great all the time. That'll be really interesting to listen to. What does his past achievements matter when we're evaluating his play currently? Just because Faker won 4 worlds 4 times, he should be exempt from all valid criticism when he's playing extremely poorly. The level of flame he's getting is proportional to how bad he's playing. If your argument is people should be nicer to pro players in general, that would be fine. I don't think that would be fine, to be honest. I disagree there. It's like, obviously, like, there's limits to like how mean you should be to pro players, but I think criticizing pro players on Reddit and stuff and being like, oh, this guy played bad, like the comments that are normally in public that most people see are fine for the most part. Like, obviously, there's some random Twitter threads where people are like saying this guy should be shot, and it's like, okay, like, that's obviously not fine. But saying that somebody's playing like bad or like what happened to Faker, like, you could say that shit, it's fine. Every other old legend gets called washed. I think almost no one in the league community actually hates Faker, but posts like these are why so many people are so quick to flame him. T1 and Faker fans still saying Choky, call Knight a fraud, and mock other great players, but simultaneously insinuate that flaming T1 and Faker is a step too far and is toxic. T1 and Faker fans need to do better and be better. Yep. Them in an ARAM with me, I'll humble them, bro. Exactly. T1 fans try to gaslight everyone into thinking that Faker is the best player in the world because he has the most trophies, so we should hold him to those standards. If Chovy is getting flamed for not solo carrying 1v9 against BLG, the best player in the world should be rightfully crucified for losing 0-2 to fucking Fox. They lost 0-2 to Nong Shim, 1-2 to Fox. True. Right? It's even worse. Jesus Christ, retire him immediately. Man, it's like one of the first times I've like almost fully agreed with Reddit. I'm surprised because normally Reddit is like super pro Faker. And I think like you can still be pro Faker and still say that this is patronizing and weird to behave like this around him. The Glazy is insane. I've never seen a Showmaker fan making a fuss about Twitch chat calling him Shoemaker when he's underperforming, or Caps getting called craps all throughout 2021 and 2022. You guys need to grow tough skin. Shaker. Yep. I mean, I don't know. It happens everywhere. It literally just happens everywhere.